we traditional rulers are not engaged in people, especially the youth.
Village leaders, all of them, they are old people. So they are Tinubu's friends and relatives and age mates and age groups. So they don't know what the youths are fighting for.
They want to shadow what is happening in Kenya. And if we look at what's happening in Kenya, it's violent. There have been destructions of properties. And we know that for Nigerians, when we copy.
Now, on August 1st, 1st of August 2024, Nigerians have scheduled a protest, a worldwide protest of the youths and the people of Nigeria. And they have been mobilizing online to end bad government. That is the hashtag end bad governance. You know, that's automatically they are saying that Tinubu must go. Okay, the president of Nigeria. But that's not a fact that they really want the president to go, but they want to end the bad governance. And they are following up from Kenyan protest, the protest that Kenyan held, and it was successful, and it triggered across Africa, and Africans have woke up. The youths of Africa are seeing something out of this. But the governments, the political leaders, they have planned themselves. They saw the protest of Kenya, and they are ready to tackle it. Now, Nigerians have been warned by the president of Nigeria passing his message through the military. Let's hear this one and then we talk about it.
Well, let me start by thanking you for inviting me to your program. It's a pleasure to be here. And I would also like to add that essentially there are several factors to be considered in examining the motivation for this protest. One of such factors is the motivation. Is it motivated by opposition politics? Is it motivated by sovereign interference? Could it be motivated by interest parties or by terrorist groups or even organizations that are feeding on the frustrations of Nigerians?
Right.
Now, the intelligence organizations and agencies are doing a good job in pointing that out. And pointing to us those that can be picked up, and the relevant agencies are at it. But it must be stated that while the protesters have a constitutional right to conduct peaceful protest, they do not have a right to mobilize for anarchy and the unleashing of terror.
Yeah, but these are aggrieved Nigerians. They're not, organizing to cause anarchy, what you call anarchy or chaos. They're only saying we're going to come out to protest against bad governance and make some 15-point demands of the government without necessarily saying, they're not calling on anybody to destroy things, around the country, are they?
Well,
why are you reading anarchy into what ordinarily is a planned peaceful protest?
Well, you need to look at the contemporary context for what has initiated this protest. And we don't need to look further than Kenya.
Right.
They want to shadow what is happening in Kenya. And if we look at what's happening in Kenya, it's violent. There have been destructions of properties. And we know that for Nigerians, when we copy, we copy. that there are indications that there will be status-related violence. And what do I mean by that?
Right.
Good. You carry a smartphone. You think you're poor, but somebody can carry out violence to collect that phone from you. You drive a car. You have properties, you have a shop, you have house, even as minute as using, I say minute,
right,
but for somebody else it's luxurious, as using air condition, you will be targeted. And other areas that we found out that will be targeted are worship centers, businesses, markets, and the list goes on.
So does the military have any plans to protect and ensure that, you know, these places where you have mentioned, worship centers and what have you, markets, will have adequate protection? What kind of contingency plan are you making as a military to ensure that, you know, I mean, the peace carries the day?
Good.
Things don't go left.
Good. I will say that the Constitution is very clear as to how and when the military gets involved in such situations. There is what is called military aid to civil authority, which involves the deployment of the military in such a situation in support of the police and civil security to maintain law and order. Until we are invited, we don't come in. But for now, what we're doing is carrying out situational awareness to read what's happening in the environment so that at the point, if we are called in, we know exactly what's happening.
If you are called in as the military, will you be protecting Nigerians? Or is it the government that you'll be protecting? Or will you be maintaining the role that the Constitution says is yours to play?
If we come in as the military, ours is to carry out our constitutional role and responsibilities.
Which is?
Which is to support the civil authority and agencies to ensure law and order is maintained. And the civil authority and agencies we're talking about here now is the police, because at that point, it is assumed that the police is overwhelmed. And so the military comes in to prevent a state of anarchy and lawlessness.
You pointed out the Kenya experience, which is still ongoing.
Exactly.
Are there lessons there for the Nigerian military to ensure that things don't degenerate?
Well, I will say that we have conducted protests in this country prior to now. But this particular one is different. And it is different because there's an atmosphere of hardship. And that atmosphere of hardship, they say an angry man, a hungry man is an angry man.
So you agree that the hunger is not politically motivated? The anger is not politically motivated?
Oh, you must understand that could it be opposition parties? Could it be terror groups? Could it be sovereign interference? Could it be interest parties that are feeding on the frustrations of Nigerians?
Well, Nigerians will be relying on you to give answers to the questions that you've reeled out. I mean, is it terrorists that are behind this? Is it opposition parties? Is it who? Is it foreign elements? You should have answers to these questions based on your intel.
We do have answers to these questions.
Right.
Well, let's look again at Kenya, where they want a shadow.
Right.
Okay. Now we see the Kenyan government has given in a lot, but still the situation is unresolved up to date. We wouldn't want such a situation to happen in our country. And what we're saying is that we need to quench the fire of violence rather than to ignite it. Because when we ignite it, there's no telling how far that fire will go.
Welcome back. The masses is joining, the youths are joining, the youths are waking up and saying, you know what, we don't want this old generation, we don't want these old leaders, not Not we don't want them, but we don't want them in the leader chair or in the seat of organizing the matters of the nation, because they don't know how to do that. And Nigeria is one of the countries that is facing a lot of challenges economically due to the bad government, due to decisions that the government is making, due to corruption, due to everything, you name it. Now, after Kenya held their protest, Nigeria, Uganda was next. Gambia has done it. Ghana is going to do it. Now Nigeria is going to do it on August 1st. But the politicians, and Tinubu, to be precise, Tinubu, has warned Nigerians never to try it, saying that this is not it's not Kenya. Of course, the message did not come direct from a president, but it came from the military. That means it was a message that was deployed to him by the president. That's if you see the military, maybe the director of the military speaking something about the nation, that means it's direct from the president. Now, what is the next step for the youths of Kenya, of Nigeria? Because he has told the youth that they want all the names of the people who are going to protest, so that they can know how to handle you. This is crazy. Now, why do you fear? If you are doing something good for your country, why do you fear? Why do you fear that the youths are going to, the youths are coming to protest, to demonstrate, and it's a peaceful demonstration? Why do you fear if you know you are on the right track? Because if all goes well, if you could do these things just straight up, if you could do away with corruption, if you could just run the country in a very, very good way, all these protests that we are about to see in Nigeria could not happen. But it's crazy how the people of Nigerians, more so the youths of Nigerians, they are being threatened that not to try demonstrating in the country, not to fight for your rights, not to speak for yourself, because that means you are trying to tell me I have no right in my own country. I have no right of speech. I have no right of freedom of demonstrating. Because demonstrating is my freedom, is a way to send my message to you through demonstration. Because if I try to use other ways, ballot ways, you are there, like maybe some of the election are rigged. Now the only way that my voice as a citizen can be heard is through demonstration, because it is loud. And I know politicians don't love citizens to be loud. They want citizens to be quiet. And that's why they are threatening Nigerians not to try demonstrating. Nigeria can be one of the greatest country in Africa. We call it the giant of Africa. And if I am the giant of Africa, I need to show by example. I need to lead by an example. If Nigeria could get a good leadership, just someone, I know all these leaders are not 100%, but even 30% of you being good, it will change some things. But you are here on the seat, like 90% of you, and 100%, 110% of you is only negative. You work with the whites, with the oppressors. You are their puppets. You don't have my interest as a citizen. You have your own interest. You do things, fake promises. Things that you are doing is not the things that you promised to do. You are going backward instead of going forward. So a country, since for example, they got independence, they have been just going around. Most of African countries, since they got independence, they have been just going around just like a circus, a lot of problems here and then. This election, that election, we are choosing this, we are trying that one. We are going around problems each and every decade. Now, how will it come to change? It will come to change when we do away with these colonial mind leaders, when we do away with the puppets of the oppressors, when we try to go the Traore way, when we try to do the things our own way as the Africans, as Nigerians, as Kenyans, as Ghanaians, and not to be made, not a decision being made by the IMF and World Bank to control our country. That's all we will do. And we will only achieve this if we have young blood in the seats of leadership. If we have young blood right there, so that, the young blood, we have read a lot. We know the rights. We have not mingled with the whites, so we don't know. The issue of these all the leaders, they stayed like many years fighting with the whites and negotiating with the whites, controlling their minds being controlling by the whites, being brainwashed. So 80% of their minds is white. 80% of their minds is controlled by the oppressor. Only 20% is African. And that 20% is their stomach and their family. So they are working hard to feed their stomach, to feed their family, to enrich themselves. And the 80%, they are working for it to enrich the whites. And believe me, Africa, as the youth of Africa, as the youth of Africa, I'm seeing that a time is coming when the youths will erupt in a peaceful way. We don't want blood. We don't want violence, because Nigerian, the director of the army is saying that it is anarchy. It is what, the terms that our President Ruto used, that the demonstration is anarchy. It's not about anarchy. It's about our rights. If it's marching to the parliament, is what will make you do away with the corruption, get us a good government, we will march to the parliament. So Nigerian President Tinubu, the Nigerians are being warned, are being threatened not to try going to this protest. If you are watching me from Nigeria, what is the next step? Will you go? Will you join forces? Will you fight for your rights? Will you go and protest for your rights? Or will you back up? I think it's not the time to back up. We have come far away, mobilizing, end bad governance. I think it's a time to march forward. It's a time to ask for change. And there is these leaders from, I don't know, religion leaders or these village leaders.
The hashtag End Bad Governance in Nigeria continues to gain momentum as the proposed hunger protest latest for August 1st draws near. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday met with traditional rulers from across the country, led by the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Abubakar III, and the Oni of Ife, Adeyeye Ogunwusi, at the State House in Abuja to discuss the current state of affairs in the country. The Oni said the traditional rulers are not in support of any violent protests and expressed fears that the planned protest may be hijacked by people that have ulterior motives.
Let them put a face to it, and don't let it be hijacked by people that has ulterior motive. That is our stand. We condemn such acts fully. We traditional rulers are not engaged in people, especially the youth, coming out to start looting, to start breaking down law and order. We are parents, we are traditional rulers, we are closer to them. We are going to go back home and continue to engage them.
They are saying they want to give Tinubu time. Don't go to the protest, because let's give the president time. And if you see the village leaders, all of them, they are old people. So they are Tinubu's friends and relatives and age mates and age groups. So they don't know what the youths are fighting for. They don't know why. All of them, they are still the same people who are being given a small piece of land in their area, in their village, and then they support the bad government, they support corruption, they support poor leadership, they support So if these village leaders are asking to give Tinubu's time, that means they don't care what's going on. They don't care what their children are about to face. They don't care anything. But all in all, if you are from Nigeria, tell me in the comment section what you think and what you if you will join hands, if you are going to the protest, if August 1st you will go outside and ask for your right. Tell me in the comment section what you think about this video. I am the Kenyan Beast, of course. We are doing it the African way. Peace be with you.